The UFC 317 International Fight Week card is ass. This card is terrible. So Dana White announced the main and co-main event for the card, and those are two good matchups, don't get me wrong. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira is a great matchup, two big names. I am looking forward to seeing that matchup. Why was it not Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev? And before people in the comments say it's because JDM beat Bilal, Islam's going to be fighting JDM. JDM isn't fighting until like October. This card is in June. It's in 40-something days. Islam Makhachev could have fought Ilia Topuria, win, lose, or draw, and then went and fought JDM after it. And timing-wise, it would have made sense. Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. I like this as the co-main event. I think this is a good co-main event. I really do. The rest of this card is ass. So International Fight Week, which is meant to be one of the biggest cards the UFC do each year, this is meant to be one of their standout cards. The International Fight Week thing is mega for them. They promote it like mad. There's a lot of things that are on offer, like places offering trips, like tickets to go out there. You know, this is a big thing that's promoted. It's like the UFC's WrestleMania, to use WWE as an example. That's probably better describing it like that. That's what International Fight Week is meant to be. It's always meant to have a massive fight on the card. It's always meant to have like one of the biggest stars in the company. And yes, you do have Ilia Topuria, one of the biggest stars, but it's in a matchup that not like everyone is going to want to watch this matchup, yes, but it's not the fight that everybody wanted. The fight that everybody wanted was Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. But skip all that because the main event is good and the flyweight title fight in the co-main event is also good. But when you look at the rest of the card, so you mean to tell me one of the biggest cards of the year has Paulo Costa, who hasn't won a fight since, let me think, the bomb was dropped in Japan, since that nuke went off in Hiroshima, if that's what you call that place. That's the last time Paulo Costa got a win, and he's going in there against Roman Kopylov. So the feature fight to one of your biggest cards of the year that you try and sell every year is Paulo No Wins Costa against Roman Kopylov. Both guys aren't even ranked inside the top 10 of the middleweight division, and this is the feature fight. Then we move on down the card. You've got Beneil Dariush versus Moicano. Now this fight was meant to take place at UFC 311. We all know what happened there. Arman Tsarukyan had to pull out. Moicano stepped in. Beneil Dariush was taken off the card. Why are these two guys fighting each other? What does this do for the lightweight division? How does this propel and move this division forward? Someone tell me. Both of these guys should have been on this card. And Beneil Dariush should have been taking on Mauricio Huffy, you called him out. Why was that fight not made? This is my problem with the lightweight division. It's got some massive names in the division, but the division is slowly becoming one of the worst in the UFC. They're not bringing in these new prospects to let them try and push on and bring some hype to the division. Why is Beneil Dariush fighting Moicano? What does that do for the division? Like, is someone going to get a title fight after this? No. Is somebody going to get a title eliminator after this fight? No. What's going to happen is they're probably going to be fed to a prospect after this fight. So why not have Beneil Dariush Moicano on this card but taking on prospects in different matchups? Mauricio Huffy should be fighting Beneil Dariush right now, and that there is just a simple fact. Siam should be taking on Money Moicano on this card as well. That there is another fight that makes sense. Bringing in new blood to the lightweight division. Two matchups that are way more exciting than what Beneil Dariush versus Money Moicano is. And then this is mind-blowing. The UFC have released this. This is actually on the UFC's page. This is what they are saying International Fight Week card is. You have got Deniz versus Justin Tafa on the main card of International Fight Week. Right, come on. Come on, step out with the cameras. This has to be a prank. Where is everybody here? Deniz versus Justin Tafa is a prelim opener at best. Why is this fight on the card? Why is this on the main card? You mean to tell me you can't get anyone else to fight on this card that's worthwhile over Jonathan Deniz, or however you say his first name, and Justin Tafa? And then, like, there's no way this can be the actual structure because you've got a matchup that I actually like that's on the card. But again, to how they promote International Fight Week, this should maybe be a main card opener, or this should probably be a prelim headliner with how they gas up International Fight Week each year. You've got Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. With the state of this card, this should be the feature fight. Brandon Royval Manel Kape is a high-staked matchup for the flyweight division. Whoever wins this is going to fight for the flyweight title next. That's how big this matchup is. And you've got Deniz versus Justin Tafa above it. How does that make any sense at all? At all. You've got Jack Hermanson, nice to see him coming out of his cave again to take on Gregory Rodriguez. Again, a perfect prelim matchup. I don't hate this fight. I think it will be a fun one. Jack Hermanson can't really fraud check Gregory Rodriguez because he did just get smoked in his last matchup against Jared Cannonier. But I like this matchup. Again, a perfect prelim fight. Now, I understand we're not going to get UFC 300 type cards every year. I understand that. But fuck me, the roster the UFC have and the way they promote International Fight Week, and this is the pish that they give out. This is ass. This is not good. This is terrible. And then you've got Tracy Cortez on the card, taking on Vivian Aharat. I can't say her second name. Vivian, I can't even say her second name. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it anymore. This is This card stinks. UFC 314 was a better card than this. UFC 311 was a better card than this. Let's look at other International Fight Week cards. Let's look at last year's. So last year UFC 303 was the International Fight Week card, and I remember people calling this card shit. This is a much better card than what we have. It's just true. Maybe the main event and co-main event on this UFC 317 might be better. In fact, the co-main event definitely is better. The main event's up for debate. I mean, I would probably say it's better because I like Topuria more than I like Pereira and Prohaska, and I like Oliveira more, to be honest. I think that's a better matchup. So the co-main and main event are probably better for this year. The rest of the card, though, just look at this. Right, you've got Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. A mid matchup. You've got a women's fight nobody gives a shit about. Ian Gary MVP kicking off the main card. Now, say what you want about that fight. Was it boring? Absolutely. But two big names. We don't know what 317 is going to look like as the card plays out. But just looking at names on paper here, right? You've got Ian Gary MVP. Two massive names for the UFC. Great way to start off the main card. And look at the prelims. You might look at the prelims and say there's nothing special here. But there's a lot of high level prospects that have a decent name behind them on this. Joe Pyfer on the card. You've got a UFC legend in Cub Swanson and Andrei Arlovsky on the card. You've got Gene Silva on the card, big prospect. Peyton Talbot on the card, another big prospect. You've got Vinicius Oliveira, another big prospect. I'm not saying the prelims need to be stacked like UFC 300, but give us some high level fucking prospects on the card. Something to look out for. UFC 317, this card is ass. This is shit. To take it one step further, let's go to the year before 2023. Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez, great main event. 2 titles on the line on this card, like we're getting at UFC 317. Robert Whittaker, Dricus du Plessis. Bruh. Great matchup. Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. Another amazing matchup. Open up the main card. Again, this goes back to the prospect thing. I'm not going to hate on this because Bo Nickel was a very hyped up prospect. Obviously, we know what happened to him. Shout out Renan de Ritter. But again, I don't mind his placement on there. A big name prospect on the card. A legend in Robbie Lawler. This was his retirement fight. You've got other semi-decent prospects at the time in Tara there. Fuck, I can't remember his second name. What's his first name? What's his first name? That's actually gonna annoy me. I actually need to get this right. That's actually gonna annoy me that I can't remember, and I'm gonna remember it as soon as I see his first name here. Tatsuro Taira. How did I not remember that guy's face? You've got Petrino at the time. He was undefeated at the time. At this point in his career, yeah, he was undefeated. I think he suffered his first loss to Anthony Smith, God bless, at UFC 301. Cameron Simon, another good prospect at the time. Ribovic as well, another good fighter that's outside of the top 15, top 10 rankings in the UFC. This card is better than UFC 317. Like, if you take away the main event and like, this card is shit. Like, it's so ass, and there's so many, like, where's Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich? Why is this not on the card? Like I said, for SEM, Moicano, you've got Mercio Ruffy, Beneil Dariush. Why is that not on the card? Other matchups you can make. Volkov Almeida. Why is that not on this card? If you want to have heavyweight matchups on there, we don't need two unranked fat blobs for a fight that means fucking nothing on the card. Who else can we add to this card just off the top of my head? Gene Silva, Josh Emmett, or Gene Silva, Lerone Murphy, or Gene Silva, Aljamain Sterling, or Aljamain Sterling, Arnold Allen. There's so many other matchups that can be made that aren't on this card. This is shit. This is ass. International Fight Week is a letdown. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all again in the next one.